Okay. Okay. I promise. We lost ourselves. Lost our dream. In the pursuit of great, we failed to do good.
Why does anyone commit acts others deem unspeakable? Perhaps in another life, you would have been friends.
Why it worked! You see me? My monkey bomb finally worked! I wanted to help. I only wanted to help. I only wanted to help my
Told you to stay away.
No! Why did you leave me?
Because you're a jinx! Do you hear me? Milo was right!
No! No!
Time is a funny thing. In life, time is so finite within a person. Just with a blink of an eye, you could possibly miss so much. Tick, tock, no matter where you put a clock, it will continue to tick. No matter if it stops, it will still talk. A lot of characters in Arcane believe that they could control time, that if they bend it to its will, they could sacrifice it for perfection, power, or life. You could say that a lot of media is about time. Think of Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It was an untimely event that David's mother died. Wrong place, wrong time. Think of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's a matter of time until each Spider-Man uncles dies. Or what about real life? Where did all the time go? What the fuck is the obsession with time? It's in our nature to have time revolve around a story. For that, what makes it linear. If it didn't, then it would be something different. Still time itself, but not linear. Arcane doesn't only bring us the prospect of time, but the hopelessness that comes along with it. It's a sad truth to the matter at hand, but we have a small amount of time. And what we do with it is our biggest choice. Whether we use it for knowledge, power, grief, family, or a better tomorrow, it's a choice that must be made, because time can be wasted.
No, Akira. Don't leave me alone. Don't leave me. Please don't go.
Not only do stories revolve around time, but most involve sacrifice. They tend to follow one another. Think of Full Metal Alchemist. The Eric brothers thought they could summon their mother from the dead without. Think of Adventure Time, when Betty wished to save Simon.
I wish for the power to keep Simon safe.
These stories might have small or big events surrounded by sacrifice, but nonetheless, all of it was in the name of sacrifice. Now, go back to Arcane. This show has so many symbolisms in sacrificing, it makes my stomach twist and turn, contort and mangle. I couldn't have fathomed the amount of emotions that would build up at the end. I was left devastated. I needed to voice my emotions, and the only way I saw out of this madness was to make a video. So why don't we start now?
You must be cold. Cold? No, I don't think so. I sense a charge.
Victor and Jace wanted to do better for Piltover. In the beginning of the series, it was through passion and love for innovation and science that pushed them to create Hextech. It's funny, when Victor meets Jace for the second time, he says this.
But only because you signed your notes. Every page, I might add.
A little egotistical, don't you think?
But I believe that is a part of what drives them closer together. That egotistical mindset to say we can create a better tomorrow. You must have some form of an ego and pride to believe that one or more can build such a future. I think Jace had so much pride for his work that if it was going to burn, he would kill himself with his work. But Victor saw something in his vision as much as Jace saw the Hextech. This power, Jace wanted to cultivate it for not only himself, but for all of Piltover. And yet, I don't speak the same for Victor. It may sound outlandish, but Victor didn't see Hextech as the power for a better tomorrow, but for a tomorrow for him to live. He was dying. Time was limited, so he needed power. I know I sound like a broken record, but do you believe in chances? If you were on a deathbed knowing your partner is making something powerful, something that could prolong your life, would you gamble? I can't imagine or even bear the thought of having to go through such choices, but at the end, Victor toyed with the sun and played too close to it. His prize was Sky's life being taken away. Not only did he fly too close, no, Jace did so as well, killing a kid in pursuit of a better tomorrow. Neither one understood what it meant to create innovation anymore. Blinded by power and consumed for knowledge, they let themselves go and sacrifice the one thing they shouldn't have. It was safety, patience, and time for mankind. There is no good guy in this. They both have blood on their hands. It's funny, Victor was going to end his life due to making breakthroughs. Upsetting ones? Yes, but nonetheless. While Jace was going to end his life for setbacks. I can't find a more fitting tale than these two connected to one another, saving one another at their lowest. Hell, doesn't it feel right if they did with themselves? Would tomorrow be a better place if they weren't alive? I know, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I find it poetic that they both died. It's like they answered for their crimes against humanity. No, against life itself. They were warned multiple times, and yet countless lives were taken under their goal for power. I can't say that Victor is redeemable as much as Jace, but at least they paid for their crimes with their life. Before their death in Season 2, it really got out of hand. The Hextech core was now attached to Victor. He said it better than himself.
There are still so many questions, but
I was supposed to die.
And even now, in denial, Jace tries to make amends, but it's too late. Whatever path Victor was sent on, it was not going to be stopped. It was never going to be stopped. What makes this all so ironic is that Jace, out of all people, had to stop Victor. Because what happened to Victor did not only transpire into using power to cure his illness, but no, to save everyone from their illness. You might ask me, what's everyone's illness? Mistakes, imperfections. That is what plagues humankind so much. So the only right thing to do is to fix everyone. A better tomorrow. Do you see what I mean now? Jace had to stop Victor's tomorrow. No, their tomorrow. Because if it went through, there would be nothing to better. One of my favorite scenes is them standing at the end of their timelines, with Victor preaching.
There is no prize to perfection, only an end to pursuit.
Again, What makes it ironic is that Jace technically wanted a better tomorrow. Maybe not in the eyes of Victor, but nonetheless almost got what he asked for. As I think of it now, I still have a little compassion for both of them. I understand the pressure of what Jace was feeling. His friend was dying. He was making breakthroughs like no other, and Zahn was breathing down Piltover's neck. And Victor, well, he was dying. He was running out of time. It might have felt like the world was spinning for both of them while they were standing. They gave up time for a moment of power and got what they desired. Unmagnitudes of strength that they couldn't handle, inadvertently collapsing on themselves, ending a chapter with a world intact without Hestek.
Elora, you didn't have to come out to meet me.
What are you doing here, Mother?
Can I not visit? I've heard stories of Piltover's hospitality.
Power isn't just for curing imperfections. No, it's also for curing weaknesses. A better word to fit Mbessa's and Mel's dynamic is strength. They both wanted to be stronger, whether that's through military or information. They wanted power. Mbessa sought out using strength to brute force her way through most situations, leading her to go to such lengths that it would draw danger to what she holds most to her, family. Whether she put Mel in danger at the funeral, investigating Hestek, and even prolonging its negative effects, or leading the Dark Rose to get to Mel. With all of her might, ironically, she put her daughter in the most dangerous situations. Oh, don't think I forgot about Mel. She sought out strength and weakness by using information. Knowing half of the battle is the game. But once a scientist said,
knowledge is a paradox. The more one understands, the more one realizes the vastness of his ignorance.
She caused the Hestek to live. In the pursuit of wanting information, she got lost in whatever fantasy she had for Piltover. It wasn't as severe as Victor, Jace, and Mbessa, even though she was the one who let them inside that room that very night. It was the ones who chose to keep creating such dangerous technology. Maybe everyone's hands can't be clean. Knowledge is a paradox. The same thing can be said for strength. Strength is a paradox. The more one achieves power, the more one realizes their weakness. Mbessa tried to follow what Victor did for his tomorrow. She wanted strength above all so she could protect the one that was dear to her, and yet failed to realize that it wasn't enough. It was never gonna be enough, for she would always have a weakness, something to protect. Once we first saw Mbessa, we only felt utter strength from her, as if the pressure around her would get heavier as you drew closer. But once we did get closer, we saw cracks. Once we knew she valued family over everything, it was then we realized. Mel, on the other hand, wanted information, not physically, but mentally wanted to be stronger. She wanted information about Hextech. We can see it in Season 1. She was all over Jace because he was a good investment. In Season 2, she doesn't see Jace as an investment anymore, actually developing feelings, and didn't want to use the Hextech as a weapon, understanding something was unstable about it. It's a weird parallel. You would have imagined Heimerdinger somewhere in this equation, or Singe, but I have something far greater to talk about them later. For now, what did they sacrifice? time. They wanted more strength for more time. As Victor wanted time to live, Mbessa wanted more time for Mel. Mel wanted more time to prove to Mbessa she was strong enough, and Jace wanted more time for Victor. It's really messy, but both selfish and selfish reasons. Not only time was lost, but lives. Countless lives lost due to the inability to see what really made them humans.
Everything I've done is to cure her.
Precisely what are you trying to cure?
That affliction we all suffer.
You know, humanity. That reminds me. A character once shrouded in mysteries turns out to be a poor old man filled with misery and denial. I'm not talking about poverty in the sense of money, but time. He lacked time with his daughter, Oriana. At first, we only thought there was madness to his chaos. A rogue scientist just creating monsters and beasts just because his knowledge holds no bounds. But it was for another reason. An illness took Oriana's life at a very young age. Just imagine how hard it was to keep living each day knowing you outlived someone who you wanted to sacrifice your time with, knowing damn well you wanted to see them outlive you. So, plagued with grief, it soon took over his mind. And having knowledge on your hands, he only thought of unspeakable things. There was hope in the chaos. All he could think about was to cure his daughter. What? That doesn't make any sense. Cure her from what? Cure her from... She's fucking dead. Cure her from what? Death. The time he sacrificed was all in vain for her, to give her life again. But thinking about it more and more, don't you see it? She is alive again. And yet, what was the cost? The cost was her time. She doesn't have time anymore. So what are you left with? Sacrifice? It doesn't make any sense anymore. You can't sacrifice anything without time. You're left with what? What is left? Suffering. You're left with suffering. You could say she has infinite time, so what's the conundrum? You can't be scared of anything if you can't die from time. You can do anything. And yet, was she given the choice? Her life isn't normal anymore because she won't age. She won't soon make mistakes anymore. Hell, she can become perfect. And yet, something about it means losing some part of your humanity. A lot of stuff makes us human, and two of those things are immortality and thirst for knowledge. Take the pillar of immortality away, what are you still? We know the answer isn't human. So whatever this thing is, we're left with an abomination. Soon come to realize that it's not human anymore. Singe has not only made a purgatory for his daughter, but the inability to experience time again. Whatever it may sacrifice, it won't be time. At least he did what Victor and Mbessa couldn't do. Make a cure, or a better tomorrow. Morally, what Singe is doing hurts others, stepping over piles and piles of bodies just to save one. In doing so, she lost more than just time. I didn't even expand upon how she not only lost her body, but her sense of touch, taste, and smell. It will ravage her mind until the end of time. She is a walking mechanical machine with a human brain. No one should suffer this much. Meanwhile, Sin gets what he wants. Ironically, just like Mbessa, he hurt the one he wanted to save. It's only a matter of time. Pure selfishness.